have y'all done this dungeon called the Dawnbreaker? You might have seen me do it last week, and I featured it in my new video that is on the new World of Warcraft channel, by the way. What I featured in the video was an incident that I had last week where I fell through the boat in the Dawnbreaker dungeon, and I could not escape and I died because of this. Yeah. And I did the Dawnbreaker dungeon again a separate day, and it was actually even more of a disaster. I went in with randoms, and it was probably the most Pepe God dungeon experience I've ever had. We had people running, like flying all over the map. Nobody can figure out where anybody else went. The tank is off on their own inside of a building, God knows where. There's bosses at random points. It's completely unintuitive to know where your party has went or in what direction. Even if you put a marker on the tank, it's like you can't, it's like herding cats. If you don't fall through the boat and die because you're trapped in the inner part of the boat. We had another problem where on the last boss, the boss tells you to follow it, and if you do so, you will actually die because you need to, instead of what the boss tells you to do, you need to book it towards where the boss will land, because if you just follow it, you'll actually die. It was rough. It was really bad. And after this experience, I felt so annoyed. I actually went to google.com and I'm like, Dawnbreaker dungeon is a disaster, enter, to see what do people feel like about this dungeon. Is this dungeon okay? No. People I can't decide if this is one of the most interesting or the absolutely worst dungeon, worse than the Oculus that I've ever played. I think it is worse than the Oculus, yeah. It is like the Oculus on crack. It is. Whoever designed the Dawnbreaker dungeon should be fired. On Follower needs work. I haven't even tried this on Follower. The AI is dumb as a doornail and won't lead. Still not figured out how to get to the third boss, as all guides show it on the boat in the air again, but I flew up there and did not see the boat. Also, most guides on YouTube instantly skip over the getting to the ship part, so no idea how to do it. First Follower dungeons were okay, but this one's a mess. Don't worry, it's not just a mess. I'm glad that the Follower dungeon gives you the same experience that you would have with real players. Maybe they're just trying to make sure that you don't miss out on what you would have had if you joined. They try to replicate and be realistic with how real players would act. Maybe that's... People are really pissed about this. An ambitious dungeon. This is perhaps the most ambitiously designed dungeon Blizzard has ever released. Players work through a crowded city, bring the fight to the sky across several airships and even from the back of their mounts. It's almost movie-like in the scope of action. However, to make this work, Blizzard had to bring out some of the worst design choices of dungeon past. I found this dungeon to be my least favorite experience in Warcraft since the mall. It wasn't that bad. Okay, that wasn't that bad. The motion-sick peon in the room. As soon as the first boss battle starts, the airship takes off. The stage is stationary, but the moving backdrop immediately made 3 members of my group feel nauseous from the motion. What? What? Really? Oh my god, I didn't even know that. That's another thing I didn't even realize. People are getting motion sickness? It's a mess. Then they cast something, you need to interrupt or you die. While absorbing golden orbs or you die. Oh, yeah, that's the boss. The motion sickness is compounded by the ship jumping mechanic. First, it's incredibly unintuitive to get on your mount in combat and fly away from the boss. This is not what I'd be expecting out of that fight. and we wiped because it was so poorly telegraphed. Yeah, I did not understand I needed to do that the first time. Platform below you is still moving, so it messes with your frame of reference. You launch quickly into the ropes and balloons, then need to find the next ship to land on. Again, the fast motion and changing frames of reference, paired with poor telegraphing, leads to a poor experience. In the crowd, it's easy to get lost. We're in a crowded city. Low bridges with mobs under them interrupt your sight. Very high mob density. Most of these you never need to fight, but it's not intuitive what you need to fight. Mini bosses to target are marked. They're yellow circles on a yellow map. Okay, skill issue. Skill issue. Running bombs. The final boss requires you to run bombs to the boss. As a melee character, you don't see these bombs while watching the boss. What? You need to bring bombs to the boss? Okay. Oh, that's right. An Oculus throwback, flying combat. Oh my god. I think this is going to be extremely entertaining to watch people do with Mythic Plus releases. Unintuitive is the word that I would use to describe the entire experience. It is without a doubt the most chaotic, poorly planned dungeon I've ever played. Hopefully they track how many groups disband without finishing it. Players are swooping around trying to land together without success. Roaming bosses so you don't have a set meeting point. Glitchy boats. An absolute nightmare. So apparently this thing where I fell through the boat is really common. And this is happening to tons of people. If they cannot fix this before the Mythic Dungeon runs begin... People are gonna be so mad. So mad. So I'm basically terrified of getting this dungeon. I bring it up because we're gonna level a bit today, and I'm scared. Some of the dungeons I feel are really well done and cool and different, but I put in the keywords Dawnbreaker dungeon wow sucks Reddit. I was not disappointed. This decision was taken after completing the dungeon for the first time after many frustrations. I died while following Rashanon because this is what I said! You're told to follow her. You have to beeline to her landing spot. If you follow her as you're told, you get one shot by the darkness. People are really pissed. You can't avoid it if you're planning to have 2,500 rating. Okay, well, it sounds like we just need to, you know, we need to figure it out. It's a skill issue. Clearly, it's a skill issue. It's not great, but it's not that bad. Let's see how it is if I get it. I'll do my best. You need to collect the balls. Yeah, I know. I don't know if everyone knows that, though. It is on the Mythic list. Dawnbreaker strikers should collaborate with the healer strikers. Maybe not. I don't know if the healer strike was that effective. You basically need to jump on board the boat quickly after the first person boards it, because it will start a timer and then move. If you're getting on board when it starts to move, you'll fall through. What?